Hey guys, Dr. Axe here. Hey, today I want to talk to you about something called ancient intelligence, and this really applies to the supplements you take, different herbals and vitamins and nutrients, and really how they can work together. And so when we're talking about supplements, now listen, there are thousands and thousands of supplements available today, but I want to say this, anytime I personally take supplements, anytime my wife takes them, anytime anybody that I'm recommending supplements to, I recommend supplements that have ancient intelligence, and here's what I mean. So a lot of people today take turmeric as a supplement, right? So they take turmeric powder. Now turmeric is incredible, but did you know that when you consume turmeric by itself, you're absorbing very little of it, versus if you combine turmeric with warming spices like black pepper or ginger or clove, it actually increases the absorption and the bioavailability. In fact, historically, for over 3,000 years now, there have been certain supplemental recipes and formulas that people have used or physicians have created to really amplify the effects of certain herbs being used together. And so we know that from history, right? Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese herbalism, that when you use certain herbs and spices and vitamins and nutrients together, there's an amplifying effect. Well, listen to this. Recent research is also showing us the same thing. In fact, a study came out recently that said when you consume turmeric that contains curcumin with black pepper that contains piperine, when you consume those two together, it actually increases the bioavailability of turmeric by 2,000% and actually increases the absorption, so the amount of turmeric and curcumin you get into your bloodstream, by 154% according to recent medical studies. So here's the truth. If you are taking supplements that aren't following these ancient intelligent principles where there's an intelligence of using one herb with another to amplify the effects, you are really, really missing out. And let me give you a few examples or a big example here. So you've probably been on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook or read an article where for this recipe for turmeric golden tea or turmeric golden milk. Well, that recipe is over 3,000 years old. It was created by an ancient physician. And what they did is that recipe specifically is for turmeric mixed with a warming spice blend called tricketu, which is a combination of black pepper, ginger, and long pepper, and consuming that with healthy fats such as ghee or coconut, okay? So that's the ancient Ayurvedic recipe. Well, today we know that, again, when you consume turmeric with warming spices, it opens up your capillaries, allowing turmeric to get throughout your entire bloodstream, and then your cells are all made up of fat. They have what's called a lipid bilayer, so then they're better absorbed into your cells when you consume them with fat. So can you see this ancient intelligence of when you're combining certain herbs and nutrients together, it actually amplifies the effect of those nutrients that we're talking about. And let me just say, so we're talking historically here about ancient Ayurveda, and we're talking about traditional Chinese herbalism. And this is how both myself and Jordan Rubin, this is how we supplement our ancient nutrition products and supplements today. We follow the ancient formulas used in ancient Ayurveda and in traditional Chinese herbalism. Because here's the sad truth. If you're consuming turmeric by itself, you're absorbing probably like 1 to 3% of it, versus if you're consuming it with these warming spices, now it's not only affecting your gut, now it's affecting every cell, every tissue, every organ of your body. So here's the truth. The type of supplements you buy matter, and making sure that your supplements have that ancient intelligence is critical for how it works in your body. So let me go through some of those ancient principles. Number one, when you consume supplements, there's big benefits of adding in a warming spice blend, specifically black pepper, cayenne pepper, ginger. Those warming spices help open up things in your body, open up your arterial walls in your bloodstream, allowing things to circulate better. So you're going to get better circulation and more of a nutrient pass throughout your entire system if the supplement has an added warming blend in it. The next thing is probiotics, right? We know that throughout history, people have consumed probiotics in the form of food, from sauerkraut to kombucha to kimchi to natto. So getting more probiotics in your diet. We know probiotics also improve absorption and bioavailability of different foods you're consuming, supplements you're taking. So looking for things, supplements that have probiotics as well is key. And I want to mention a specific type of probiotic, a soil-based organisms. Those are known as SBO probiotics, soil-based organism probiotics. Those specific species are like Bacillus subtilis, Bacillus coagulans, Bacillus clausii. These unique types of soil-based probiotics actually improve absorption. And here's what soil-based probiotics are. If you ever go to your local farmer's market, you buy some carrots and there's specks of brown embedded in the carrot. Even after you wash it off, those are called soil-based organisms, and historically those were known to help support digestion, and science is proving that today. So again, probiotics are big. So we've talked about warming spices and that really help a supplement have ancient intelligence. We've talked about probiotics. The other thing is prebiotics, right? Prebiotics that really help probiotics grow, and herbals are some of the best that have some of the highest synergistic effect for that. So again, doing prebiotics are also fantastic for supporting your body in that way there as well. And then one of the last things I want to talk about here are bitter herbs. Now, living in America today, we get a lot of a couple things. We got a lot of sweet and we got a lot of salty. Guess what we're missing? Sour and bitter. Sour foods activate the liver. Bitter foods also activate the liver and your intestines and your heart, your cardiovascular system. So bitter herbs, though, are the #1 taste we're missing in our diet today. And the things that are most bitter tend to be green leafy vegetables and herbs, okay? Probably the most nutrient-dense foods tend to be very bitter. Well, here's what bitter foods do. When you consume a bitter food, such as artichokes or arugula, broccoli rabe, some of these very bitter foods, or a lot of herbs today. If you can taste herbs straight, they're all very bitter. Well, when you consume herbs, it activates your liver. Your liver then produces bile, and bile breaks down fat. It helps with absorption of all the nutrients in your body. This is why, you know, have you ever been to an Italian restaurant? We used to go to an Italian restaurant all the time when I was growing up, and we always got breadsticks and olive oil, and they'd sprinkle a little bit of oregano on top there. Well, do you know that thousands of years ago, a Greek physician had his patients consume bitter herbs, and this is very common in the Middle East as well, but they would consume bitter herbs before their meals to actually activate their liver and their digestive tract, preparing for proper digestion. So that's another thing to look for in supplements is a blend of bitter herbs. You want to be getting bitter herbs like oregano, dandelion, milk thistle, peppermint is a bitter herb. All of those herbs are bitter in nature and support absorption and digestion. I'll say this, one of the biggest problems we have today is a lot of people are taking supplements and they're not absorbing them. You know, I had a patient come in, a past patient years ago, and I remember she came in with 2 big bags full of all these supplements, a lot of just single supplements, and she started to, and I said to her, Mary, in fact, she was taking like, I'm not kidding, like 80 pills a day, and I told her, I said, you know what, I think you have really expensive urine. I said, I don't think you're really absorbing or digesting much of this at all, and we changed her diet. I put her on a probiotic. For starters, and then I had her start taking supplements that follow those ancient Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese principles of mixing things like turmeric with warming spices, with bitter herbs, with adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha. Using those together supports the body, and that's my last key ingredient you want to look for in supplements that really use ancient intelligence is adding in adaptogens like ashwagandha, mushrooms like reishi mushroom. Adaptogens help lower stress and cortisol, and they activate your immune system in a way that can also really support your body, calming and helping balance your hormones, which also can help absorption. So remember this, when you are buying supplements, don't get something that's just this single supplement. Get something that has these amplifying ingredients that make it more powerful. Again, turmeric by itself is one thing, but when you combine turmeric with warming spices like black pepper and ginger, and then healthy fats, it creates a recipe for health and wholeness versus by itself, it's just not as strong. So again, I hope that makes sense for what you want to look for in buying supplements. Always look for things that really help amplify the supplement, giving it that ancient intelligence.